Well, hello, Saumil. Welcome to Design Rendezvous, and I'm so excited that we're finally here. It's just fantastic to have you here as a part of the entire roster. So, welcome again.
Thank you so much, Payal. I'm pretty excited for our conversation today.
Fantastic. So, Saumil, I'm going to get straight into it.
Okay.
Right? The brand that you have given birth to is Hatsu.
Yeah.
Tell us about Hatsu. What does it mean to begin with? And what is the purpose of Hatsu in this landscape of the genre that you work with, and also in the culture that we are in?
So I think when I started, Hatsu was very much keeping the Indian market in mind, because I'm based out of India. I've been born, brought up here. I've lived here, and I could see that there was this environment created where there was something lacking, where there was no platform for good accessible designer products available in the market. So I think it basically started from something which I observed was a lack in the Indian market, which was very much prominent in the European or the American or the global market itself. It does have a higher purpose to it also, which is bringing all young designers on board and making setting up a system and a platform for them to not for them to design, produce, develop, and market it to the say create a platform for the customers, and make it even accessible for the customers to purchase these products.
Because you said that it's a platform for young designers, and in our conversation earlier we spoke of how this is a lifestyle brand. And it's not just about a light design or a rug design or any kind of piece of furniture that you perhaps might be selling. Tell us a bit about how do you ensure that this this pulse of lifestyle, right, which is I think an amalgamation of good living, meaningful living, design driven. It's everything that you started off from, right? How do you ensure that this life of the brand kind of percolates into the products that you maybe design, or you tell your designers to kind of create those products?
I would say you have to be quite disciplined about it, because you can get carried off and not follow your purpose. You need to first definitely have clarity of your purpose, of what you want to represent yourself as. Once you have that purpose in mind, and you just need to consistently remind yourself that this is your target, or this is what you're going to stick by to it. So there will be times where we have a lot of products, and some of them we feel like, oh, we should produce it for the market, launch it under our brand. But then when we go, like, we always try to go and ask ourselves, does it resonate with our core ideology? When something is not resonating with our core ideology, and you kind of feel it, you feel whether you are being true to yourself or no. So it's quite easy and it's hard at the same time. So the easy part is that you can get an instant feedback, because deep down whether you're being true or no. The hard part is to consistently ask yourself the same question again and again.
It's interesting, Saumil. So you mentioned about the importance of getting the global aesthetics into India, right? And I want to ask, why is it important to get that into India? Because India itself has a lot, in terms of its heritage, the design aesthetics, etc., etc. And your brand is, it's not just you don't just have 20 or some more products. It's not like you have a roster of 100 and 200. It's a selected curated set of products, and I'm interested and curious to know about first the mindfulness of it, and then why kind of bring the global aspect of it into India.
One of the major things looking at the Indian market is that I think it is a victim of its own habit. What designs which have been followed for like last 10, 20, 30 years, the same thing has been, like, the same trend has been going on. And I feel like it's not Hatsu, but the whole of India itself has a potential to do a lot more than that. And if maybe we can do something different and show that to the people, that this is something which can also work in this environment, then I think it will give a lot of other people the possibilities, or even the idea that yes, they can just break the pattern or the habit which they are caught up in, and try to find something different which even people will be accepting. So I think that there has been this stereotype that Indians aren't accepting of the new change, or they are set on it. But I think it's like it's a counter to it, because I don't think so. People have tried to test it out in India itself. So for us, this has actually been like an experiment or a test to see whether people are accepting our products or no. Uh, yeah, and the reason why we keep it, yeah, eclectic, or we have too much character or something to it, because that is something which I personally resonate with. And also, whoever is working in our team, everyone is young. They are all in their like early or late 20s, and we do feel that the place you are in does affect your mood. You'll definitely feel a lot better in an open playground than in a closed room. And so we feel that the products that we are adding to should enhance not only the aesthetics of the space, but the feel also, or how the user feels in that space. So when we do that, we try to even keep like some character, or some part or some unique character of the user with the product, because when we make a product which has its own strong character or some uniqueness, users connect to it, and they connect it because that's something which resonates within them. So yes, not our products aren't like too commercially sellable, or they can't appeal to everyone, but it will appeal to people on a deeper level, and to a limited people on a deeper level, is what I would say.
To a limited people on a deeper level. And I don't think that's I think, like you said, it's a counter to what's been happening. I think it's a counter to consumerism, right? Which kind of propagates the idea of more the better, keep on buying, why not, all of that. And that brings me to the point of when you think of to a deeper level, and that coincides with good design, right? And good design, I don't mean pretty or beautiful. Good by its the wholesomeness of it, right? The impact of it. And like you said that you have a roster of designers that are young, that I believe, I think the kind of products that translate is it's a beautiful marriage of graphic to experience to textile to product, and a lot more. What I would love to know is again talking about design and then design education, in India, what are your thoughts on how is it that design institutes, current or emerging, can really propagate this idea of design not being confined to a discipline, but design being a lifestyle choice, right? And hence you kind of pick and choose products that coincides with your belief system. So what according to you should the design institutes teach and also propagate and mentor?
So I completely agree with what you're saying. What I've also observed is that design is very compartmentalized these days, in at least education institutes, where they try to have like an expertise or a higher skill set in a particular aspect, which I think which is quite self-limiting, because for me designing is something which you observe in your various experiences of life, and from those various experiences you try to pick up something which is unique, with something which you can connect to, and try to incorporate that knowledge into some existing product form or a concept, and try to enhance it, redesign it, adding more layers to it, depth to it, or even doing the opposite, like breaking some layers which are not necessary. So I feel designing is something which has to be a non-resistant process. You can't have some rules or regulation of how to go about. But what matters is definitely the end result. The end result is something which what you have created uh, not necessarily has to be better than before, but has to have a different perspective or an aspect to it. uh, there's not, I don't think so that we live in a world where there is something which is white and black. We all live in a gray world, and everyone can have that unique perspective to it. So in a very short term, I would say that designing process should be non-resistive or shouldn't have any restrictions. And it's there's no textbook or there's no rule book behind from where you can get ideas, or or only these are the limited ideas that you can use or you can't use. uh, yeah, that has been happening a lot in institutes, but it's not about it's not about the educational change, but it's more about the attitude or a philosophical change or an approach towards teaching the whole process is what I would tell you.
We try to infuse this, right, in the students about looking at design from a 360-degree angle, etc., etc. But I think, like you said, that the products and the experiences that, even we or the students for that matter are surrounded by kind of educates the way of thinking. And I think the environment plays a huge role in it. And, to kind of end this conversation on a very practical note, okay, you're an entrepreneur. Like you said, it's an experimentative project, right? And so if you could share 3 important qualities that are required by an entrepreneur or somebody who's starting something, that is niche, that is, it can be challenging, I'm sure it is. Not many people understand, why you need this, all of that. So, what would you say to somebody who's starting or creating something niche, a design-centric brand or an experience?
Something which I try to consistently follow is to have clarity of why I'm doing anything. Also, the clarity of the big picture. The big picture can keep on changing with you getting new experiences, but you need to be questioning, asking yourself every time why you are doing this. Because once you have a clarity, I think it's kind of a rule book of what you need to avoid and what you need to spend time into. So I personally think that is clarity is something which is very much clarity or purpose is something what I would say. Then I think you're building anything, you need to give it time, you need to have patience, you need to be consistent about it, because this is a process and the process is non-linear. There will have its ups and downs. That shouldn't make you start questioning yourself. Any ups or downs shouldn't divert you from the end goal. So I think, yeah, definitely the second thing I would say would be time consistency is what I would say. I think third thing would be non-attachment. So if you are, I think whatever you're doing, not to take it too personally or not to be too attached to it, because you can't control things. So you actually have to let the chips fall where they may, and try to go with the flow. So yes, definitely you can have certain things where you will be that these are the rule books or these are the things which I'm going to follow, but in reality many times you can't do that. So the more you are trying to control things, or the more you are trying to resist it, I think the slower you are moving ahead. So I feel that you shouldn't have attachment to anything. I think the business doesn't define who you are. Whether you succeed or you fail, it doesn't question your abilities. And you never know when you are succeeding, when next you will fail. So I think it's a part of the process. So the main thing would be just to enjoy the process and maybe not care about not be attached to the end result.
I think I wasn't expecting that, Saumil.
Yeah,
to not be attached, to like your own baby, right? Because you started this a couple of years ago. And it's quite natural to be, so, and of course you're passionate, but to be passionate and yet be detached, and kind of draw some boundaries, I think that's a fantastic giveaway. Thank you so much. And that brings us to the end of our conversation. I want to thank you again, Saumil, for being a part of this, and we'll keep you posted.
Okay, thank you so much, Payal. It was great having this conversation with you.